It has officially been 1 month since Hurricane Maria devastated Puerto Rico, and the president is praising the federal response. Listen to how he rated his administration's efforts at a press conference yesterday with the governor of Puerto Rico.
Mr. President, between 1 and 10, how would you grade the White House response so far to the hurricane?
I'd say it was a 10. I give ourselves a 10. We have provided so much, so fast. We were actually there before the storm hit. I would give a 10.
President Trump says it's a perfect 10. But let's take a look at where the island stands today. Nearly 80% of the island still without electricity. Over half of the cell towers in the area are down, which means many residents are forced to travel miles away just to contact their loved ones here on the mainland. 30% of the island still doesn't have access to drinking water. Last week, the Environmental Protection Agency authorized $70 million to the island's water authority because of major safety concerns over water sanitation. Highways and bridges took a major hit after the storm. Heavy damage is making deliveries. It's hard to make those deliveries and relief supplies to get that food and water. It has been massively difficult. The Wall Street Journal reports this morning, they said out of Puerto Rico's 5,073 miles of road, over 4,000 of them remain closed. 30% of the hospitals are running on generators. This morning, Puerto Rican officials say 21 hospitals were still on generator power, while 4 remain completely closed. This week, The Hill reported that unemployment rate was close to 100% today. There are still over 4,000 people living in temporary shelters, and residents are fleeing the U.S. territory by the thousands. Over the last 2 weeks, listen to this, an estimated 60,000 people have arrived in Orlando, Florida alone to escape the unfolding crisis back home. NBC's Gabe Gutierrez has more on the infrastructure crisis that remains in Puerto Rico and the efforts taking place to bring power back to the U.S. territory.
In Old San Juan, Eddie Ramirez runs a bed and breakfast, but after Hurricane Maria, he's become his neighborhood's power source.
And you feel helpless, even though we're actually trying to do as much as we can.
When he installed these solar panels years ago, he never dreamed they'd become his lifeline. Now he's running extension cords to surrounding homes, storing insulin, milk, and ice for his neighbors.
We're trying to be positive, but it's so hard to be there.
Almost 80% of Puerto Rico is still in the dark, but Governor Ricardo Rosselló claims that number will drop to 5% in less than 2 months.
Is it realistic to expect that the power grid will be back up and running in most of Puerto Rico by mid-December?
Yes, that's why I proposed it.
At this aging power plant, they've rented 2 massive turbines from a Florida company that officials say will light up the capital city within 2 weeks.
Well, how do you fix this? It's certainly a great challenge.
Rebuilding the grid from scratch largely falls on Ricardo Ramos, the recently appointed CEO of the Power Authority, which went bankrupt after allegations of corruption and a long history of maintenance problems.
This is extremely old technology, you know, a steam power plant with boilers, you are burning a bunker fuel. That is, unheard of.
For Eddie Ramirez, skepticism is measured in mangled power poles.
It's a ghost town. It's dying little by little.
The government hasn't lit up his neighborhood, so tonight, it's up to him. Gabe Gutierrez, NBC News, San Juan, Puerto Rico.
Let's stay on the story as we have been doing. We were together on the day that hurricane landed, and we are sticking with the story until we can get the full story about what's going on and when it's going to happen. Joining us on the phone is Major Paul Dolan. He's with the National Guard of Puerto Rico. Major, thank you for being with us. We've had some good updates about the situation on the ground, but can you tell us specifically what challenges the National Guard continues to face in Puerto Rico?
Hey, good morning, Ali and Stephanie. Thanks for the opportunity. The motto of the National Guard is always ready, always there, and that's definitely what we're doing. We're here and we're ready to serve. Definitely, there have been challenges, as you just mentioned in the news update. Power, water, everything is a huge challenge. But what we're doing is tap out as best we can. Our biggest priority right now still remains being that food and water get to the citizens in need. We've got several distribution centers set up throughout the island, and we've recently begun to deliver straight from the port to each municipality pallets of food and water to ensure that the food and water gets into the hands of the citizens in need. Regarding the shortage of water, in addition to the bottled water that we distribute with FEMA, which has been over 8 million bottles of water so far, we're also purifying water from different water sources throughout the island with our rope use, water purification machines that purify thousands and thousands of gallons that we're able to distribute to citizens, which is potable water that they can use for drinking and bathing and washing and whatever is needed. And these are just a couple of examples of the things that we're doing. In addition, we're still working, cutting down trees and fallen trees from the roads. Initially, the first couple of days after the storm, we addressed the major freeways, and now we're concentrating on the secondary roads, which kind of go towards the center of the island, to ensure that there's a free flow of traffic for everyone so they can get where they need to go. So the Puerto Rico National Guard hasn't rested since day one, and we won't until the job's done.
When we speak to people on the ground, they say there's a lot of private contractors, whether it's Halliburton or Blackwater. They say there's a whole lot of relief efforts where they say they see guys in black T-shirts and fatigues. Do we need that kind of outside support? Because we know those outside contractors are very expensive, and there's a lot of concerns that these rescue efforts are desperately needed, but budget matters.
Right. I have seen some civil or civilian security elements. I'm not sure which companies they represent. There was some concern at some point that some of the distribution centers early on, as you can imagine, people waiting a long time in long lines for food and water. Sometimes it can be distressing for some, and kind of keep people safe and secure. Security elements have been brought on to assist. But as for the National Guard is concerned, we too have been offering our soldiers as security, military policemen and women, have been recommending the Puerto Rico Police Department as well as the municipality police departments with patrolling and intersections and whatever is needed to ensure that the island is safe and secure.
Hey, Major, what is the situation in terms of the availability of the National Guard members in Puerto Rico? Because obviously some of them would have been based in places where they don't have power, they don't have water, and their houses would have been destroyed. Are you working at capacity, or do you need more help?
Well, we currently have 3,500 approximately soldiers activated. That's not 100%, and it won't be 100% because a large amount of our National Guard are first responders in their civilian jobs. They're either policemen or firemen, right, or doctors or nurses.
Hey there, I'm Chris Hayes from MSNBC. Thanks for watching MSNBC on YouTube. If you want to keep up to date with the videos we're putting out, you can click subscribe just below me, or click over on this list to see lots of other great videos.